Let's take a look at Decentraland or Mana. Last time we looked at Mana was on November the 21st. Here is a recap. Decentraland spiked up from less than $1 all the way to about $5, and then it's retraced, consolidated, dropped all the way down to about $2.50. If we take a quick look at how much it retraced after spiking up, we see that the price retraced by roughly about 61.8%, which is very normal. If we connect this low point to this low, that would give us the upward trend line, and if the price does not drop below this trend line, then at 220 this could potentially be the bottom for this retracement, and that Mana would likely continue this uptrend again. So after the price rebounded, Mana spiked up, crossed over the 10 days moving average, and then the minute it dropped and retested the support of this trend line, it bounced right back up, and since then the price continued to trade over this 10 days moving average, which is a very, very bullish sign. When Mana was in consolidations, the Bollinger Band contracted and the width of the band get very narrow. That indicates a lot of momentum is being built up. Then the minute the price spike up, we see this huge run up in price. Then the Bollinger Band get expanded. And for the last couple of weeks, when the price retrace and consolidate, the Bollinger Band contract, and now it get to the point where the width of the band is getting narrower again. And now the band is beginning to expand, and Mana is riding this upper band. The formations of this is very similar to Shiba Inu when it was forming for what I call is the second wave run up in price. So let's take a look at Mana versus Shiba Inu. The top chart is Shiba Inu. And if we look at this chart, Shiba very much traded sideways since the middle of May all the way until the beginning of October. Went through this long consolidation process. Very low activity. Bollinger Band contracted really well. Then the price spiked up. The Bollinger Band expanded, retraced, consolidated. The Bollinger Band contracted and got to the point where it was ready to support another wave. Then we see the Bollinger Band expanded and the price started to spike up. And compare that to Mana, we see this sort of similarity. Mana even took longer to consolidate. It started around April all the way until the end of October, which is about 6 months. Then the price broke out. The Bollinger Band expanded, Mana retraced, consolidated, the Bollinger Band contracted, and now Mana is in the process of beginning this second wave. And if we look at how much Shiba run up in terms of this Fibonacci extension, Shiba ran up by roughly a 2.61 times before it retraced, and right now is in consolidations. If we apply the same type of extension, then we are looking at the possibility for Mana to run up to as high as $12 as part of the second wave. Definitely the Bollinger Band is setting up for the second wave. There is the possibility that Mana may drop down and retest the support of this upward trend line again. And that would put Mana down to about 360. But I do expect the price to bounce up, and Mana would run up and begin the second wave. And the target for the second wave would eventually take Mana to a low of about 750, which is right at about 1.618 times the extension from this high, to as high as about $12, which is based on the 2.618 times the extensions that we saw with Shiba. The reason I think that Mana would likely run more to the $12 range because of how long it took Mana to consolidate, which is about 6 months. Sorry for such a long recap, but given the fact that Decentraland is very new at Vietmaxim, I want to make sure that anyone who missed the first video can still see this recap. and understand how the chart is behaving, because Decentraland is a very exciting project. Fast forward, this is the daily chart for Decentraland, and the data I have is to 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on November the 24th. Last time we looked at Decentraland was on November the 21st. Very much like how I had anticipated. I expected Decentraland to retrace and test this red line, which is the 10 days moving average, at 350. And then it would find support, bounce right back up. And that's exactly what it did. Bounce up and was able to close the day higher than the prior day. So that was the first signal that the uptrend would continue. Following day, Decentraland continued to trend higher. Today, it broke out on strong volume, spiked all the way up to 532, crossed over the prior all-time high at 493, officially confirmed the beginning of the second wave. Currently, Decentraland is trading at $5, or up about 23%. Let's take a quick look at MANA on this 5-minute chart. For the past 3 days, right at around $4, which is this dotted yellow line, that was the line in the sand between the buyer and the seller. Buyer trying to push the price up so that it could establish 4 as the new baseline. Seller refused to have that happen, so they drove the price down. At one point, a couple of days ago, that's when the price dropped to about 350, where it tested the 10 days moving average. But at that support line, buyer very much took over and they pushed the price up. Finally, they won, which is they established the 4 as the new baseline, then continued to drive the price up. And what we're seeing right now is buyer trying to establish a new baseline at $5. But the sellers, they are not really giving up yet. They're trying to push the price down. So there is still a possibility that MANA could retrace below $5 to as low as $4.50, or could even potentially retest the $4 before bounce up and continue the second wave. So that is definitely something that we need to keep in mind. Go back to the daily chart. This chart is definitely looking very, very nice. MANA crossed over the prior high, which is officially confirmed the breakout for the second wave. The Bollinger Band formed out very nicely. Right now, it is expanding. MANA is riding the upper band. The 10 days continue to lead the 50-day and the 200 days. Volume pick up after the price spike up. So this is an indication that buyers are definitely stepping in and that drive the price up. The stochastic oscillator is showing this very strong upward momentum. So all these bullish indicators are pointing to MANA would continue the second wave, and it would likely ride this 10-day moving average and eventually reach my target price, which is in between the $7.50 to $12. But given the fact that the momentum is very strong, Metaverse project, or specifically Decentraland, is very much the talk of the town right now. So I am looking at the uptrend that would eventually take MANA more to the upper range. But one thing to keep in mind is definitely at $5, there is still that struggle between the sellers and the buyer, like I mentioned earlier. So there is still that possibility that the price may dip below $5 and could potentially retest the $4 range. But that is okay for me. Anytime when MANA dropped below $5, that is a very good entry point to accumulate more. And I would likely take 50% off when the price hit around the 10, 11 range, because at that point, I do believe that this part of the second wave would likely top out, and then we would likely see retracement and consolidations again. And I would just wait until the price retrace and then re-enter again. That's it for this video, and don't forget to click that like button and reward me with a like if you appreciate the content that I'm presenting. Also, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button and subscribe, and make sure you turn notification on. And if you have Twitter, make sure you follow me at Vietmaxim because I provide constant update on all of our favorite cryptos.